What do you do in the evening when you don't know what to do? Read a book, play a game, every night is just the same. What do you say if I tell you how to keep from feeling blue? My advice is good to take and it's easier to do. When you're all alone, any old night, and you're feeling out of tune, pick up your hat, close up your flat, and get out and get under the moon. Underneath the bright, silvery light, you'll be feeling better soon. Pick up your hat, close up your flat, and get out and get under the moon. Look, look, look at the stars above. Look, look, look at those sweeties love. Oh boy, give me a night in June. I mean it, all you got to do any old night when you're feeling out of tune. Pick up your hat, close up your flat, and get out and get under the moon. When you make a date any old night, gonna meet your sweetie soon. Pick up your hat, close up your flat, and get out and get under the moon. Underneath the bright, silvery light, that's the only place to spoon. Pick up your hat, close up your flat, and get out and get under the moon. Walk, walk, kiss and then walk again. Talk, talk, kiss and then talk again. Oh joy, sweethearts are all in tune. I mean it, when it's raining out, stay in a room, but on a lovely night in June, here's what to do, sweetie, and you just get out and get under the moon. If you're with a girl and she is cold, says she doesn't want her spoon, don't you feel blue? Here's what you do, just get out and get under the moon. If you feel a kiss and she gets sore, she'll forget it mighty soon. Don't stop to fret, she'll learn to pet when you get her under the moon. Indoors, there's not a thing to do. In-laws walk in and out on you. Oh boy, sister and brother too. I've tried it, just take my advice. If she is nice, nice as any night in June, just take her hand, she'll understand, and get out and get under the moon.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, madam and mademoiselles, welcome to another rendition of Haunters Anonymous on a Sunday night. And once again, thankfully, James is clickety-clacking at the helm.
I'm here this evening, back from the trip, and I am
Woo!
exhausted. I really am. I'm so beat.
Well, we'll get a quick HHN update from you. And we've got Zac Black on tonight. All of y'all should know who that is.
Yep.
He'll be discussing the state of the haunt industry. Then I'll be doing it some more on Wednesday night.
I don't know if I'll be here on Wednesday.
That's fine. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, I'm going to be. Actually, it's going to be a lot of haunt stuff that I'm going to talk about Wednesday. That will affect. I think this is the quick recap. I think it's going to affect November and December for Haunters Anonymous for me.
Yeah.
So I need my break from it now so that we can concentrate on ministry.
I hear that.
There's gonna be wait a minute. Oh shit. Hey Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Zach.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey Chuck. Oh, I gotta be sure to look at restream bot because
Yeah.
I don't do that much. Because and we'll talk about it quite well. I'll talk about it quite a bit Wednesday. Uh, um, the way things are going right now in the haunt industry, there's going to be zero anything to talk about November and December.
Hey, Abby.
Hey, Abby. My phone just went off. Let's see if I break something. So anyway, we'll be discussing quite a bit Wednesday. Um, oh, let me go like this picture. There we go. What else is going on? But yeah, so Wednesday is going to be interesting all around.
Nice.
Uh, uh,
Well, I'm interested to hear this news, this information.
which one?
I don't know,
Zach
whatever you're
stuff?
saying. Whatever you're saying Wednesday.
Oh. Well, you can come in or listen to it after the fact. I've got a lot to talk about as far as because we're headed into the end of October already.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean,
It's
I haven't been here a lot, and hardly at all in September, and holy crap, where did that month go?
Yeah. Um, it went by kind of with a whimper for me.
You're like, oh, I know where it was. I was here for every one of them.
Wait, what?
Nothing. I'm saying because I had so much going on in September that like I had no recollection of September at all anyway. But you were here for every show in September, so
Oh.
busting your hump,
Sorry.
getting your system working.
I'm all of a sudden because it's 8 o'clock and I'm on stream. That's when everybody decides to text and message me, so I have to look and see what's going on.
Hey, Yumiki? What? I can't pronounce your name. I'm sorry. But hello from Albany, Georgia. How are you?
Hey, from Albany, Georgia. How you doing? Facebook apparently is really where everybody just wants to watch this. I guess people are just enamored with Facebook, but
yeah, it makes things easier for some people, I think. But that's why we do both.
Well, that's why you do both. I don't do both.
That's true. That's why I do both.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So, so the Wednesday is going to be basically the state of the union as far as the haunted attraction industry, and the Cliff Notes version is I think Monday, November the 1st. Who is it that doesn't like us talking business now? I can't remember. It's so funny. I mean, being funny. We know you're still here, Mark. I think on November 1st, we're going. My suggestion, if James is hearing this first too, I think we should put Haunters Anonymous on hiatus for about 2 months.
You were not going to hear any arguments from me, man.
Yeah, and we'll concentrate solely. There'll still be. I'll post news and stuff on the Haunters Anonymous page, but there's literally no. There's going to be zero news. I mean, honestly, there was really not that much to begin with, but I want to concentrate back on ministry, kind of switch directions, especially since we're going into the Christmas season, which I know you and the family are very fond of.
Yeah, we're huge into it. We're more into Christmas than we are even Halloween. So
yeah, and see on ministry we can talk quite a bit of that, and just I think we need a lot of more lighthearted things where we get away from
the BS that's in the haunt industry right now.
I won't because we'll get Zach on in a minute, but the haunt industry is really in shambles right now.
Yeah,
it's in shambles badly. There's a couple of narcissist people who would completely just be yelling at me right now, and da 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 da. I don't really care, but it's really really in shambles, and it's my personal deep seated action interaction and keeping track of all this stuff daily really has wore me out. It's actually wore me out this year.
It does, man. I'm telling you, that's aside from just having so much going on, it gets to you. Like all the bull crap that is currently happening between, not only with just other people and us, but like as the whole industry itself, it's like everybody is just so very toxic right now.
Yeah. And of course, James and I are the least toxic people, quite honestly, but we just,
Depends on who you ask.
well, it depends on, but it doesn't matter anymore. Those people, they don't matter. They just don't matter. I
No,
don't
I'm
care
not
anymore.
concerned about it. And I'm super
No.
happy that I can pronounce your name. I'll never be able to pronounce it again. So I may just call you Shannon. So make all our lives easier because I don't like sounding stupid.
And but welcome to the show. Icy Monsters, welcome back. Yeah, we're all in high gear. Well, kind of. But the short of the story is Wednesday is going to be quite a bit of a ramble. Not negativity per se, but it's really going to be a state of the union when it comes to the haunted attraction industry, and it's going to be a not a lie. Um, the every single day now for the past several months, a minimum of one haunted attraction is closing. Announces they're closing permanently. Now, there's quite a few that say, "Hey, it's another year where we're kind of in restrictions, kind of still, or we just don't feel right opening during, the COVID numbers still high, even though more people getting vaccinated." But I'm talking like minimum of one attraction per day in my very broad list uh, is closing permanently. 5 years, 10 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
It's the most that I have actually seen ever, ever, ever. So with the narcissist and everything else, the people that did things last year that they shouldn't have, the politics that were super injected into the haunted attraction industry last year and still being done so, and everything else, it's just really, really an unfortunate. This year is just unfortunate, and it's caused me to be very, very low key with trying to get the stuff done here at the house that I wanted to do. Some of that has changed a little bit too. What I was going to do here, because I can't get in grant. Um, I'm too concerned about the industry as a whole. Um, so that's what we're going to talk about Wednesday. I'll shut up about it tonight because we have other things going on tonight. But uh, basically, Wednesday is going to be talking about it's a State of the Union of the haunted attraction industry from two live streamers. It'll be just me, but who don't think they need to lie or sugarcoat where it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So this is real news. It'll be a real uh, state of affairs right now with the industry. I think it's going to take a year or two to reset. I'm hoping next year things smooth out, but it's just been unfortunate the amount of attractions. It's boggling my mind what we're losing this year to never see again.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's what Wednesday is going to be. So now that I've drug everybody down.
Well, I got a little post-trip report that I can throw some little tidbits in from Halloween Horror Nights before we get Zac to come on and talk about the scare actor crisis. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the things.
Oh no, that's cool. Here. I'm actually reading something myself.
Hey Reggie, what's up, man?
Hey Reginald.
So, quick post-trip Halloween Horror Nights edition. So we took our kids, so we knew our time was going to be fairly limited with what we actually could get done, and we only had 2 goals that entire evening to get done. We actually did 3 houses. We were only going to do 2 because they were the ones that we said absolutely have to do these. Met up with a bunch of friends, which was awesome. Hung out with Mark, who started my day off wonderfully by telling my wife to hit me in the head with a pillow while I was sleeping and say, "It's Disney time" 3 times. To which I said, "What the fuck?" and rolled over and went back to sleep. That was a grand morning wake up, let me tell you. Mark got a good laugh about it, though. He laughed. He's probably still laughing about it, to be honest with you. So we did Beetlejuice first off, like right out of the gate. We were the first group to go through Beetlejuice for the night. Super fun house. Not really any scares anywhere, in that house. And I don't think that it's intended to be scary because it's Beetlejuice, so it's kind of like their comedy house. Um, but it was a fun little house. And then we did the Wicked Growth, which was super awesome. That was my absolute favorite, obviously, because it's all jack-o'-lanterns and it's a million jack-o'-lanterns. There's a few pictures I need to post that Mark took of us walking into what he refers to as the pumpkin's anus, because it's a gigantic hole that looks like an ass that is just lined with pumpkins, and you walk through it. It's a beautiful house. Loved it. This smells, though, man, I tell you, they're really slacking on their smells. Like, they used to be really, 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 really good with their smells and setting the atmosphere and everything. Now it just kind of smells like cheap latex, and just it's kind of depressing, the smells that they had. But it was super fun in that house. And then we did Scary Ohio, which is like, it's a Halloween Horror Night, like, fan tribute house, kind of. It goes through some of the history. So that was fun. I enjoyed the house. It was a fun walkthrough. Again, none of the houses honestly have scares. They try to do the jump scare. It's not super effective, but their houses are so hard to beat, theming wise, for the most part. You can tell they're slacking, though, for sure. As far as COVID goes, you would not know that it was a thing at all.
In Florida.
At all, man. So they tell you, like, oh yeah, stay back 6 feet, do whatever. And we had people like touching our backs. They were literally just on top of us everywhere we went. It got really bad later in the evening, and it just, I don't know, it felt very unsafe. I had a mask on literally the entire night. I was dying in that thing, and I just, Mark did his best and got me drunk, so that was fun. We rode some rides. We checked out the scare zones, which are really a sad state of affairs these days. Whatever they decided to do with that Crypt TV scare zone, it is a COVID cesspool. It's a choke point right there. Like, the area between what used to be Amity and like New York. It was always very narrow to begin with. Well, they decided to put what is supposed to be like 100% like a photo op zone, so everyone stops, and the whole you could not find an open pathway across the entire walkway. It was just a sea of people. It was rough in that area, like, and no one cares, like, just no one cares about social distancing or anything. It was just everybody go. So that was really kind of sucky, but I knew what we were getting into. I knew what we signed up for. I took all the precautions. We had a ton of hand sanitizer. Mark gave me enough alcohol to kill whatever may have, been inhaled that evening. And given my surgery, I 3 sips off a drink and I'm pretty drunk. So, but it was a great time. I loved hanging out with Mark and everybody that was, came out and saw us. So, brought stickers, gave stickers out to some people.
Nice.
And it was a good time. It was fun. We'll go back next year, I'm sure of it. and hopefully it'll be even safer next year. So who knows? But overall, it was a great trip. It was super fun, and now we got 13 skeletons coming up on Sunday that we're going to see in New Jersey. And then the following Friday, we're heading out to Hershey Park for Hershey Park in the Dark for that entire weekend. And Halloween night will be in one of their cabins at their campground. So we're gonna do some stuff there. Probably have a live stream, maybe short. I know the ones we did from Halloween Horror Nights were short, but it's because, like I said, it was really chaotic with all the people there. I tried to get what I could. So hopefully, fingers crossed that Hershey Park in the Dark isn't going to be terrible, but it is the weekend before Halloween, so who knows. And let's get Zach on so he can have about a half an hour to talk about what he wants to talk about.
Zach's got some cool stuff going on.
Did somebody say I had some cool stuff going on?
That would be, don't you always do, man?
Nobody told me. I didn't get the memo. Anyways,
you can ad lib. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. When you mentioned actor shortage crisis, in the biz, dude. One thing MD called, you said it, man, and you were right. I've been in chats talking to some of my fellow honors doing their thing, which I haven't been doing. Some things came up. But anyways, I've been hearing from some folks saying there's quite a bit more hostilities than usual. And you called it, Mike. You said it, and it's true, man. Like the atmosphere, I guess it's the stress of COVID, maybe the political crap we just went through. But moods are bad, and people are grouchy.
Yeah,
and you were right, man. It's just like you said about COVID in the beginnings. It's not going to vanish real quick. Everybody was hoping we'd be past it already, and it's still kind of lingering. So you were on point, man. You said, I remember, and you're not wrong. So I mean, the actor shortages, there's several factors going on. There's COVID. People are thinking about, well, should I go out into a crowd of sick people? Some of them are saying, well, I don't know. I mean, recently, and I mean very recently this week, a dude that I know from about 9 Octobers of doing my thing is a good haunter too. He never caused drama, and he always had your back. He died recently of COVID.
man.
He got it, and his system couldn't handle it, and he died.
Jesus
and I'm like,
Christ.
damn, I just got the notice from one of my good buddies, and I was like, damn, dude. So some people literally, if they get exposed to it, are going to kill over. I'm sure that has certain people wondering if they should or if they shouldn't mingle in a crowd of folks. Me personally, I've been vaccinated, but I also have the additional problem of where I work. Let's say I do mingle in large crowds and get it. I won't die, most likely, but it could rub off on some of my coworkers whose systems can't handle it. The pricks where I work are supposed to be vaccinated. They bent over backwards. They brought us the vaccine to our work. To me, there's no excuse for not getting it other than you're paranoid. But you know what? I understand people's paranoia. If you're scared to put it in your system, you're scared, and that's all there is to it. But so there are some people where I work that didn't want the vaccine. So I don't know.
There are some people, I just want to make. There's some people like James who just medically can't. But yeah, majority of people are just like you said, Zach. They're just paranoid about it. But I do want to reiterate, there's some folks that just they medically really can't right now.
Right. But you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about that. I mean, the last 2 October, I was sitting there thinking, do I wanna? I mean, I do wanna, but then at the same time, I'm thinking, well, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe I shouldn't, and I didn't. The last 2 Octobers, I meant to go do my usual, regular, blissful fun of haunting that I've always enjoyed to do, but COVID was a huge impact on my decision to just not, and then It's like James saying, I'm going to these restaurants, I'm watching where I work, I'm watching everywhere, and I'm watching people not do what they're supposed to. Even though they're saying stay 6 feet apart, they can't or they won't. They're saying wear a mask, and then I'm seeing tons of pricks with their nose sticking out of the mask. And I'm like, idiots. Like, the mask doesn't work, prick, with your nose sticking out. And I'm saying I saw a guy handling people's food working at the restaurant with the stupid nose sticking out, leaning over the food. And I'm just like going, we just don't get it. Like people just can't. They just can't. So I'm sure COVID has a huge impact on actor shortage. People are sitting there thinking what I'm thinking. I'm going, oh, I wanna, but. And
Yeah.
so all that uncertainty, I'm sure, has come into play. I mean, I know if I'm thinking it, other people are thinking it. That's
But
usually how I gauge things at home. As I'm going, well, if I'm thinking it, I can't be the only person
yeah.
who's thinking. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't do this. So if I'm sitting there struggling with it, I know there's other people also thinking what I'm thinking.
But
So excluding
but
that,
oh, go
let's
ahead.
just take the whole COVID thing out of it. When y'all are talking about the haunt industry really becoming more and more kind of like insaturated with toxicity and negativity, the online thing, Facebook, has had a huge impact on the haunt industry. I mean, everyone's sitting at home watching everybody do things, and they're thinking, I got to do this and I got to do that to be a haunt actor, when they really don't. I mean, to be very honest with you, I know really hardcore haunters that are not even known hardly. Like, they're not famous. You don't have a huge following, but without people like those people, you can't have a haunt. I mean, basically, a good haunt actor goes out there and shows up for the whole month and takes all the shit that comes with it. And being a haunt actor is by no means a cakewalk. It's not a fun thing. And it can be fun in certain aspects, but it can also be, a real drain on your emotions and your health. Uh, Especially if you have a night where there's a bunch of jerks that come through. If you have a night where there's a bunch of nice people, it's a nice night. But it can be like the weather, to where it just rains and storms real hard and then have a clear sky the next night. But if you run into too many people that grade on you, a lot of people are thinking they're watching live feeds, and these newbies are watching the popularity and the glamour aspect. And real haunt acting is really not all that glamorous. Like,
Yeah.
they're thinking, I'm gonna be a movie star. I'm gonna get my patent and my story, and I'm copywriting it. I'm gonna be a millionaire in the next Marvel movie. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're gonna go out there and have a bunch of like rednecks that are twice your size call you names and maybe even pull your wig.
I don't
Or if you're a
I don't
girl, you might get groped. Hell,
I
I'm a
don't
dude. I'll get groped.
I don't think any of the Avengers vaped, so I don't think anybody would.
Yeah. So, I mean, saying this online stuff is making people's focus on stuff that's really not realistic. And it even does it to some of the haunt owners. They're thinking falsely, I'm gonna get on here and be like the supreme haunt of the entire world. And it's like, dude, you're not competing with the world. Really. If you're competing with anybody, it's people in the local area. So, like, if people are broke and they're only got the money to go to one haunt, they're picking a haunt within their close proximity, because most people aren't wealthy. They're living on average Joe income. If the wealthy people can get on an airplane and go to several haunts or whatever, but the average Joe, most people aren't that super jazzed into it. They're just going to the nearest thing.
And
So,
the other part to like build off of what you said with the online community is too, a lot of it is haunts now cater so hard to influencers that it's like it's disgusting to the point where like we've always said it, the haunt reviewers that get, free entry into a haunt, what are they going to say about that haunt? And it builds so much like division between people too, because you see these people like, oh, everything is so great, and that they're 100% being bought off essentially. And a lot of people, their fingertips write those checks that their ass just cannot cash.
Yeah,
And
and that's affecting the morale of the haunt actors. So basically, let's say someone's online, they see all this glamour, they're like, I'm going to be famous. This is so glamorous. They get to the haunt and it's not like that. You can be tired from how many jerks disrespect you.
mhm.
Some people are cool and they want a picture and an autograph or whatever. But, you know, I personally went through a phase of being irritated that they're not scared. I got over it pretty quickly after a few years. I was like, well, I guess it's just going to be the way it is. But when your ego gets involved, it takes you down the wrong path. You're going to sit there and get upset about stuff you really shouldn't be upset about. I mean, the haunt actors don't realize that a lot of people go through there that are like me. I've got a 14-year-old girl, and I used to be a full-time haunt actor. So when I go through there, I'm just getting out of the house, and it's cool. Like I'm enjoying it. I'm not really truly terrified. I'm not really going to be scared. I know it's contact lenses, not real demonic eyeballs looking at me, and that's tons of people. A whole lot of guys are like police officers out of uniform, ex-military guys. Like they're not scared of your little mask. So they just kind of point and go cool, or they laugh. And if you're sitting there all entrenched in, well, I'm not scaring them, this is terrible. Well, you got the wrong mindset. If you're a little more lighthearted and don't worry so much about that factor, you're going to have a better time. You're going to be in a better mood. But when they're all amped up, like it's a competition globally and I got to be a level 10 scary guy, you're going to feel real let down and dissatisfied with the reality of being a haunt actor.
Yep.
I mean, like the reality of it is a lot more mediocre. And when they're jazzing it and amping it up to be something like Mega Mondo superior, well, they're setting themselves up for failure. And a whole lot of haunts don't have that kind of budget to be that awesome. Like if it's Marvel or Disney or Rob Zombie or Pink Floyd or Metallica or somebody who's like soaked with dollars and they can dump enough cash on it to make it the best crap in the universe, well, they can. But the average haunt is not on that level. And the most of the haunts are average Joe haunts. They don't have Marvel Studios money. They don't have Disney. You don't have Rob Zombie's money. It's just people making a haunt. And people don't get that. When these average Joe people with average Joe finances get online and think they got to be like Marvel Studios, they're already setting themselves up for disappointment. They're already, building the haunt as big as they can build it because the other guy is, and they make it so big and then it's empty. Well, we couldn't get enough actors. Well, we couldn't, build it on time. It's like, dude, you went off the deep end, and you did it because you're seeing all these other people going off the deep end online, and then you're monkey seeing, monkey doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're copying all this shit everyone's doing, not realizing that it's stupid shit. And when the haunt actors get out there and they're not having a good old time, like they thought they would be famous and it'd be all blissful, then they're quitting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wonder from a management standpoint. I feel like Mike would know this since he's done it. But to me, as an actor, I feel like the worst weeks for a haunt would be the second week and the fourth week, as far as staffing goes.
Man, the fourth week is what's known as Hell Week.
Yeah, always.
And I got pissed, in the reviewing business with these pricks that do a review on week one of a haunt. That's a low blow to me. That's a dick shot. You're hitting below the belt. The first week of your standard haunt is when you find out how many people bail,
Yep.
how many of your animatronics don't work, how many chords are cheap and blow up or whatever. And that's you don't know that up front until you start running it. So I heard a certain particular person whose name I won't mention. I hope he hears it. I hope he listens, and I hope he does 25 videos of crying about what I'm saying. But it's true. You don't do a review on week one unless it's Disney or Marvel or Rob Zombie. Everybody else, you leave them alone. You don't do a review week one on October because they're trying to figure out what to do about everything that goes wrong, and they can't predict it. You know what I mean? Like it, unless they're millionaires, they can't do enough prep or get enough leverage to get the quality there to ensure that it's smooth sailing. So I personally got really pissed when a particular individual was pushing me to do one on week one of October. I said, dude, you know better. You've helped set up. You've been involved behind the scenes. That's a sacred week. You just leave them alone, dude. Like that is not no. That's a no. But
Well,
the actor shortage thing comes from a lot of misguided concepts. I think, and I've said this to many people. I've said, hey, don't build your haunt too big. Build it off small and grow it bigger the next year if you can. But building it huge to begin with, because everybody else's is huge, well, I knew in advance it's hard to get actors because it's tough, man. It's a workout on your mind and your body. And I know that, man. I mean, the morale of the actors at my original haunt was a huge concern to me. I knew what they were griping about. I knew what they were bitching about. And I even came up with a plan to help them. And Mike D is the only one that's like said what I was trying to drive at that I've heard on the whole damn internet, which is, well, we let them roam for a good while and then act for a while and then switch it up so that they're cool. If you have an actor that doesn't like that, well, they just can't do it. I mean, if they roam for an hour and then do a scene for an hour and they can't handle it, then they just can't handle it. But man, when the haunt goes that far to make them happy, even when you go that far, some of them just can't and won't. And a lot of people are like that, man. It is draining and it is tough to be a haunt actor. I got a few friends that, like I said, I feel bad because a few of them see all this shit online and feel bad about themselves that they're not recognized and that people don't, know who they are. And then there's these pricks online that everybody knows who they are, but they're not a tough haunter. They're not a real haunter. They're just like an online dude selling t-shirts and everybody thinks they're cool. But they damn sure don't have the fortitude to do what I know some other guys do all the time. And no one even knows it. Like no one even hardly knows the dudes that I know that I just feel like are tough as nails. They're not popular people. Like nobody even knows really who they are. And those are the people that make the haunt work. The construction guys and the guys that like take the licks and keep doing it. The tough guys make it work. But popularity and like endurance are two completely different things. I mean, totally. But it's all this online shit that's making people's minds go in bizarre, just crazy directions. It really does bother me to know the truth of it, and that's one reason I gravitated towards Haunters Anonymous because it's not like fake and superficial and dishonest, man. If you're honest about how it is, your haunt will be healthy as it can be. The haunted attraction business is kind of you're dabbling in the dark arts a bit. But if you do it as good as it can be, it'll be as healthy as it can be, and that's as good as it's ever going to be or get. But there is not enough actors out there or people that can keep doing it for all the haunts that exist. The staffing issue that was a problem even before all the internet stuff went on. Like back in the day, that was even an issue, and now it's worse. Like
a,
now,
a few catch up things, because you and James, y'all have bounced a few things. One, I have to reiterate that haunt reviewers are a lie. So they shouldn't make any difference with anything else. There's no such thing as a professional or amateur haunt reviewer. They don't exist. Um, you have all these people that say they do it, and there's a particular a couple of them that have this team of haunt reviewers. And if you go and you look at them, you don't know who they are. You've never heard of them before. They've never owned haunted attractions. They've never done anything really long enough in the industry to even remotely be able to review anybody else's haunted attraction. And every haunted attraction is different. So I just have to kind of put that back in there that uh, haunt review teams and haunt reviewers and haunt review sites are nothing but lies. It's just a complete lie. Um, whether you're a haunt owner now that's gotten an A plus or an A minus or a C minus or an F, it doesn't matter because it's a lie. And too many people put too much emphasis, haunt owners and haunt actors. I really wish we could make it where folks understand that because, like you've said, Zach, some actors take it very personally. Some actual um, haunt owners and managers take it entirely too personally. So, what is that? Is that me or is that a show? What is that? I keep hearing. Um, it's Zach. I know it's Zach. Zach's
Oh,
watching
sorry.
porn. No, you're just. That's
You
fine. You're
turned that
watching.
down. I have
You're,
a company. I had headphones in and a microphone. I didn't think it would pick it up.
That's okay. I'm playing. I just
Yeah, but
kept. I
if
was
y'all
like,
can hear it,
no.
I need to turn it down.
I was like, if it's porn, the only person that'll enjoy it is Vic, and we'll just give him a private show. But so haunt reviewers are a lie. So let's go with that. Going back to if you run a week at a haunted attraction, and then the next time it's everybody's supposed to show up and they don't, that means that you've treated them badly. That means they're not having fun. Um, there's plenty of haunted attractions where, let's say, you have 20 people that show up on the first night, and the next night you have 40 or 30. And it's because you're treating them right, you're doing something correctly, or you're paying them, which is my next quick one. Uh, if you lose people and then cannot replace them, then the word has gotten out that you are a bad haunted attraction. You may
Right.
have millions of dollars worth of props and whatever, and they might be working pristine. But if you treat your people incorrectly, like with any job, you're going to lose your people. Which brings me to
Hey,
the next thing,
wh-
real quick. The next thing, real quick, is the era of the haunt volunteer is coming to a close. It's coming to an end. If you can't afford to pay the amount of actors, and not this is not for every single haunted attraction. And Vic with Haunt for Heroes is an exception. If you're a charity haunt,
Yeah, you mean
then
for profit
absolutely.
haunts.
Yes, yeah. If you are 100% charity haunt like Haunt for Heroes, then yes, that's how you operate. Volunteers, you cannot afford to pay them. But when you've got haunted attractions that make $250,000 in a season, or $500,000, or $90,000 or $100,000 in a season, you need to put in your budget to pay your actors. If your profits, if every dollar that comes off of every ticket, every single dollar, what I mean, like if you make your $15 a ticket and that's your profit, you need to be able to pay your actors. That the era of volunteer acting at for-profit haunts, I'm glad James made sure I said that, it's coming to a close. And that's why, besides COVID and the second effect of COVID, which is all the jobs that were lost and people who are now losing their homes and losing this and can't do this, they cannot go and have the luxury of volunteering. And so, if you've got places that are paying minimum wage that they can't get people because it's not enough to live on, who in the hell is going to spend multiple weekends, multiple hours for a slice of pizza? That era has ended. Next year, if these folks who are having for-profit attractions don't get with the program and start paying their people, they're going to realize that this is not the bad year. The 2022 is going to be the bad year where they can't get enough people to actually open. And this is one of the things I'm going to talk about Wednesday. That's the other thing that I'm seeing with haunted attractions. Haunted attractions that can open or did open And now they're having to post online, hey, everybody, we're going to refund your tickets. We couldn't get enough people to come tonight. It's fluctuating too much, this, that, and the other. And I kind of want to just comment and say, well, you need to pay your people. If you are making money, you need to pay your people. You need to keep your people safe, and you need to pay your people.
Yep.
So I just kind of there's quite a few points that I wanted to catch up on, and those were it. Um, uh, Especially the part about, because I'm going to talk more about that kind of stuff Wednesday night, but haunt reviewers, haunt review sites, haunt review podcasters, haunt review live streamers, people who haunt review are lies. I'm not saying they're liars, but they're lies. They have no qualifications whatsoever to give any sort of grade, whether it's an A plus plus or an F minus minus. They have no qualifications, none of them. And I guarantee you, I've looked at every single one of them. And there is extreme favoritism. I just saw a review today that I won't mention who from or what haunt they went to. Extreme favoritism, and it's so obvious. It made me laugh. So that's what I wanted to catch up on. So
Yeah.
continue, Zach.
And the other thing
Continue.
too on that is when you think about the reviews, like a haunt is so subjective in every aspect. Like you could go through a house and miss every scare just by a fraction of a second. You go through that house again, you get every scare. That house that you said was shitty is now one of the best houses you've ever been through. So like you may not be scared by jump scares, you may not be scared by the sight of blood, but who are you, like, when they're saying something about a haunt, what is their basis for any type of a review? Like when I said we went and I said, this house is okay, this was fun. It's, it's some of the props were cheaper than they used to be. I have a very strong line. I worked there. I knew what they did. And now I know what they're doing. And I'm not saying like, this place gets a C minus for this and this place gets an A plus for that. It's just like, it was fun. Wasn't the greatest, but it was fun. That's really all I went there for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very subjective. Like I said, some stuff will make another person pee in their pants, and I'll roll my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say on the review, well, it wasn't that scary, somebody else might literally shit on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and it is like very personal, like as to what you like, dislike, etc., so on and so forth. And the haunts are all sort of like, none of them are really identical. They all have different strengths, different weaknesses, different strategies. You can't really look at it in a binary way or a real simplistic way at all. And you could go, like, let's say I go in and do a review and everybody was active and not tired and jumping with energy. Well, the next week they could be worn out. So when I say on the review, man, it's like jumping with energy, you go a couple weeks later, or maybe the 4th week of October when they're all wore out, and maybe they're just like barely going, are they? Sometimes you're so wore out, you don't even care. Like somebody can walk by you and they're like, you're not jumping up and down. And you're like, I know. Like I'm dying right here, right now. Yeah, as an actor, I mean, I've been in moments where I'm exhausted and I just got to catch my breath. And whoever crossed my path right at that moment, no, I'm not very impressive. No, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm tired. I don't even care to fake it to some random stranger that doesn't know what I've been through that night. I mean, like I told y'all that night about the small scale riot that broke out.
Yeah.
And there was fighting everywhere. Well, for the rest of the night, I was not my normal self. I mean, I was a bit traumatized, and if somebody walked up to me saying, "You're not really very impressive right now," I'm like, you know what, buddy, go F yourself, because I don't even care what you think. right now. I perform when I can, but when you can't, you can't. And there are times where the haunt actor really can't do anything about what's happening. The public doesn't know it. They don't know if you just broke your leg. They don't know if, you were almost literally killed or raped 5 minutes ago. But you know it, but they don't. And that's why their opinion to me in certain circumstances isn't that serious. Uh, so just to reiterate on doing a review, I mean, it's very, very, very subjective.
Well,
After a while, this after enough drama got started about a certain thing, I went into Haunters Hangout where the most people that I know online are conglomerating about the industry and said, "Listen, y'all, you treat these reviews too seriously. Like my personal opinion is not the personal opinion of every single person. In other words, like they're going to read my review and it's not going to be their opinion. They'll read my review and be like, well, he said it's not all that. And then they go in and they think it's all that, or vice versa. So, like one guy really hates animatronics for a haunt because it quote unquote takes the job away from the actor. I disagree. Uh, Animatronics can be a good thing. I mean, they won't, grope somebody.
Yeah.
They won't pass out drunk on the trail. They won't smoke a joint in the middle of the trail. So, I mean, I know people don't like animatronics, but they do have their place. To me, you can't be all animatronic. But there was a haunt here that was all animatronic. It's a small one. I took my daughter there, and I laughed my ass off because my daughter and her friends were shitting themselves, freaking out, and I'm just in the back of the line. I'm like crying, laughing. Like they were so freaked because they're young. I'm old. I know it's a soft, it's a show. But I'm telling you, I had a great time. And as a father, I wrote a great review. I said, you know what? I really like this haunt. If you have children and you're worried as a parent, come to this place. It's mostly robots. You don't have to worry about any pervs grabbing your daughter. So, you know, other people like, you broke the Brotherhood Code of Haunt Actors by saying those animatronics are blah, 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 blah. And they got all ruffled. And I'm like, you know what? You're a bit paranoid and you're a bit overly sensitive because not every single haunt is going to buy all animatronics and not have actors. It's just not going to happen. Like, you're paranoid and overly sensitive. All the haunts aren't going to run identically. It's okay.
I
You
love
won't die.
animatronics. I mean, I think they're
You
great.
won't die. Yeah,
I
but
love.
some people who are pro haunt actor as a human despise animatronics. Like they really hate them. My only beef with animatronics is they break, and somebody's got to do maintenance on them if they break a lot. And I don't want it to be me. Like I've been to haunts where they're like, "Hey, can you fix the blah 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 machine?" And I'm like, "Hey, can you call the company that sold it to you?"
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
no, I came out here to get my boo on and have a good time. And no, I don't want to be trying to figure out why it short circuited
Get my
or
boo
why the
on.
air hose has a leak in it. But
Real.
you get people that are not haunt actors to do the electrical engineering or the maintenance.
That's
But that's not me, bro. But I've had literally guys go while I'm out there, "Hey, you know anything about this machine?" And I'm like, "Hey, didn't you buy it?"
real.
Like I've literally said that to me. I was like, hey, I do believe you bought it. I mean, like,
Real.
didn't you study the manual? Like, I didn't buy it. I didn't want to do maintenance on it. So why are you talking to me
Real,
right now?
real quick before it passes by, Vic says I have actors interacting with the animatronics I have. I should I be concerned with that, Vic? Because that's Vic saying this.
Yeah.
I'm mildly concerned about that coming out of Vic's mouth. And it's I'm kidding. Well, for one, I'm a proponent that if you have high-end animatronics, you need to have a dedicated person who does nothing but that, not your actors. Because one, if you have something that's electrical, let's say it's 110, 220, whatever, and you ask, Bobo the vaping ding dong clown to go fix it, and the next thing you know, this animatronic is now on fire and burning your haunt down. Well, it's, Bobo the ding dong vaping clown's fault. then it goes
Yeah.
back to the owner's fault and the manager's fault because they got
Yeah.
Bobo to come there and vape all over it, thinking he's, put electrical tape on it, and so it's not a good idea. I will say there is a haunt that opened this year. I can't remember where, called Animatronica, and it's a gentleman that's used animatronics in a home haunt for 20 years, and he's opened up a haunted attraction. I'm actually monitoring it quite a bit. Also, if you have or know people here in the United States who think that robots and animatronics are going to take their jobs away from uh, haunted attractions, one, they should be concerned because I actually believe that's going to happen. Because one, if you can't get people to come to work for pay or whatever, then it's going to be given to a robot. And as more realistic robots and animatronics become more fluidic, like they are in Disney and Universal, and I think that's going to happen too, because companies are going to come out with it. Then yes, you're going to be replaced because Bobo the vaping clown that burned your haunt down now can't come to work because he has something else to do, but he doesn't realize he burned the haunt down. That's a whole other running joke. If you have people that are concerned about that, tell them to go move to the United Kingdom, because in the UK, for the haunted attractions that are popping up there, they're firm believers in live actors. They actually don't like as many animatronics. They prefer to have venues full of people. But guess what they do in the UK? They pay them. There are no volunteers in any of these places. They get paid a wage. They get paid to come there. Their real jobs will work around it, because it's a burgeoning thing in the United Kingdom, in England. So they're doing it right. Those people get paid. They get money. They get fed. They get respected. They are respected by the owners and the community, and you can see it, with the videos, with the walkthroughs and stuff. You can see the amount of fun they're having. You can see the sparkle in their eyes, like the United States used to have with this stuff back in the day when it was JCs and everything else, and people weren't concerned about, shaking their big vaping clown ass on TikTok while they're working. Or I just saw a video. I don't know. You may have seen it, Zach. Hell, you've seen it, James. Some stupid video of some clown saying some extremely vulgar things to a mannequin, and people think that's cute. I mean, it was extremely vulgar. It was racist. It was vulgar, and
Oh
it was a
yeah.
clown that worked at some sort of haunted attraction somewhere. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So
That's my biggest issue with those types of clowns is they take that trope to such an extreme level and make it like to where it's cringy. It's not, it's not scary like, "Oh, I'm creeped out." It's like, "Oh, dude, that no." Like,
well, this was just a stupid TikTok
yeah,
video. It
yeah,
was just
and that is making it so much worse because all these haunt actors are making their own TikToks now, and like they're taking things to let, and TikTok is supposed to be, for a younger audience to begin with, and they're doing like hugely inappropriate things. Like if I owned a haunt and I saw one of my actors on TikTok doing the things that I've seen, like their asses would be out the door, like blacklisted so fast.
I have intentionally stayed off of TikTok for that very reason. There's like too many kids on there, and sometimes I, do. If I'm trying to spook somebody, like as a horror actor, I may take it to a darker realm than like what little kids should be seeing. I personally don't want little kids as part of my audience. I don't like how Facebook let the minors get on there. Like I think personally as a parent it's a mistake. I don't think minors should be freely roaming the internet. I know they can't really control it that well, but I'm just saying, if I'm, emperor of the entire world and universe, I'm saying kids aren't, allowed to just be on adult platforms for that very
well,
reason. Then you have to worry about, oh, they saw some porn stuff, they heard an inappropriate joke, they heard this, they heard that. Well, they're not supposed to be there. Like a kid's not supposed to be in a bar or at a rated R movie.
yeah.
So, but that's a whole nother rant for another time. But real quick, on the topic we meant to talk about, which is the shortage of actors, another reason why when we're talking about pay matters. That is a huge factor. But right now, somebody where I work stepped down from a highly paying job because the demands are just too fucking ridiculous. Like, they can't do it right. Even though you're paying them a ton, certain things are too mentally abusive. And no matter whether you're paying someone nothing or a lot, if they're getting beat up emotionally or mentally too much, everybody has their breaking point. Me, myself personally, in my 20s, I landed a supervisor job. I did it for 2 years, and it was the most money I had ever made at that point in my life. And at a certain point, it just became too taxing, too ridiculous. It ate up my entire life and stressed me out to the point of I knew it wasn't healthy. And I just walked off the job. I got another job with less money, and I was a lot happier. I felt like I got out of prison. I was like, yeah, woohoo, I'm out of jail. And that's the factor of abuse. If people are overstressed, overworked, and they're just not happy, even the paycheck might not cover that. Just wanted to throw that out there. Like, if it's
Well,
too rough, we aren't made to be punched in the face every day. I mean, you might be able to take it for a couple of years, like a boxer, but eventually those guys, like Hulk Hogan, goes, you know what? My spine's too jacked. I just can't do this anymore. And they retire. They quit because they just can't. And I mean, our bodies and our minds are that way. There's only so many punches you can absorb before you can't anymore. And
Yeah.
some of what happens to the actors out there, if, like I said, if security's not the supervisors, whenever I mean this, and if the haunt industry does not listen to me, well, you will fall, you will suffer with all this videos and TikToks and likes and all this shit. Okay, the actors, if they manage each other, see those other actors as spotlight hogs nowadays. So now when the actors are out there, they're like, oh, I don't want you to have 100 likes. I want those 100 likes. And they're out there squabbling during the show about who's the most popular, and they try to run each other off. I've heard several people in person try to run someone off, to which I told them to knock it off. And then I've seen it go on online. I've seen it out of dudes that I didn't think would do it. And I was really disappointed because I was like, man, people did that to you back in the day. And you know that that's not, that's not loving, and that's just mean. And then here you are wanting to run these people off because they're substandard. So, you're going to have to let some people not be all that. It just let them. It's all about Halloween. This is what y'all were talking about, the front yard. When y'all said that, it woke me up, and I was like, dude, the whole reason I do haunt acting is because I fell in love with it in my front yard at Halloween. It's about putting on a costume and having fun for a while. That's what all these haunts came from. It was from Halloween, and Halloween came from stop for a minute and have fun because you might die in the next season. All of our seasonal holidays are from a really primitive era where you might not live to the next season. So stop and have a party for a minute so you're not doing anything, so that you take a break from ditch digging, because you'll ditch dig till you're dead. I mean, Christmas, Halloween, all that stuff, Thanksgiving's supposed to like pause. So you're not like living a life of nothing but working in drudgery and misery.
Yeah.
Like, I've got family and friends that don't get that, man. We go to Christmas, we go to Thanksgiving, and all they know how to do is bitch about politics and argue and fight. And I'm like, y'all, I'm not coming over here every year because I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to have a good time on Thanksgiving. And since some of my family doesn't know how to do that, I just have some cool people over for Thanksgiving. I don't go to my family's house. They don't know how to quit arguing. They'll bring up some really bad, abrasive stuff that they know is going to go over like a turd in a punch bowl. But do they care? No. They just want to be right. They just want to win the fight. And I'm like, we're supposed to all be pausing to enjoy this food, not be bitching. I mean, we can bitch every other day, but the holidays are supposed to be to have a moment of peace and fun. And if you don't remember that and you lose track of it, you're ruining the purpose. And the haunt industry is ruining the purpose. They're making about their ego, about being famous, about how many t-shirts they sell, or how many TikTok videos they have. You know what? Halloween's supposed to be to where kids get free candy and we get to be Batman, damn it, instead of the mailman.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Don't forget to check
And they
out our
forgot.
merch shop on HauntersAnonymous.com.
But you know what?
Yeah,
I mean, some merch stuff is fine. That's cool. I mean, I'm not illiterate. Y'all don't do it in a distasteful way. I'm just saying, you get distracted with that. It's
I
like
have
y'all aren't the guilty party. I mean, I'm not a. I don't care if people have merch. I'm just saying, like, some of them out there are more like, dude, you're a T-shirt salesman, not a haunter. Like, all you're doing is selling popcorn. These dudes are selling popcorn. Like, and then the other haunters think, well, you know what? I'm not a legit haunter if I don't have my own popcorn line. And then they got to go sell popcorn, or they're not a haunter.
Are you saying we need a popcorn line?
Yeah,
No.
we need a
If you
vape
get
juice flavor too. We can come up
I
with a vape
might.
juice. Shit.
I doubt I would disown y'all, but
No.
I would, it would spare those feelings. I'd swallow it
S-
down
s-
for y'all's
s-
sake. But I'm
Speaking
just
of
saying, some of those
speaking of
dudes are.
merchandise, I have to tell y'all something later. Anyway, go
Yeah.
ahead, Zach. Sorry.
Well, I was done. I mean, those were the two. I wanted to talk about the pay and the harassment, which, people will vacate the haunt. And I know, I mean, even at my home haunt, you pulled in about $1,000 at the end of October, but it still bothered people on certain levels so much to where they were not happy, man. I heard a lot of upset, pissed off talk, and they even got $1,000 for it. So the money can not necessarily make it a pleasant experience, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, like,
I always feel
you know
better
what
getting punched in the face for $15 an hour than I do getting punched in the face for Little Caesars. So.
yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you on that, James. I can't argue, but I'm just saying, even someone who's tough, if you get punched in the same spot over and over, it'll break.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for
you
sure.
can't get punched in the same spot too many times before it's like it cracks. So, I mean, pay does help, and I'm all about, like, I don't think certain haunts should be doing volunteer stuff once they've been in business for 3 years and they've grown to the point where they're making bank, and yet they still don't want to pay their actors. That's a
Well,
whole nother level. I mean, like,
the,
to me, I think it's cool to start off volunteer and cultivate it and grow it. But after 3 years, if you're making like big money, you should be wanting to send checks to the people that helped you make it, as
but,
opposed to act like Scrooge.
but
So,
Zach, but here's the thing with that though, Zach. Like I said, that era is gone. Think about it this way: if a Burger King opened up and said, "Hey, look, we just opened up, so we have to break even, with the building and stuff. So come work for us. We can't pay you for 2 or 3 years, but come work for us, and then when we break even, we'll be able to actually pay you." It's the same thing. Who in the hell would go
cool.
work for any place if you're going to open up a for-profit haunt on your first year? And I am glad that James said it that way, because there is a distinction, and I should have known better, especially with Vic here. With Haunt for Heroes. But that era is ending. At the era of somebody, well, I just opened my haunt and I just spent all this money, and y'all come work for me for free for 2 or 3 years, and if you stick around, I'll start paying you. That era's ended. It's very, very evident this year that it has ended. Like I said, next year is going to be more horrific for these haunts than it was this year as far as personnel. And it's because there's been kind of an enlightenment with a lot of the new actors that come in, and I think a awakening with some of the old ones that have been volunteering for so long. Especially if you feel used and abused every year, but that's how you get your Halloween jollies. And I say that in a truthful sense. It's okay, I'm going to go, and in a month's time, my spine's going to be not working good anymore. But I sure hell had a good time for making no money, and had a few slices of pizza. That whole era I'm telling you, Wednesday is going to be wild. That whole era has ended. It's ended.
Yeah.
It's ended. And the haunts that don't recognize that this year and don't do something in an emergency basis to have a payroll set up. Now, of course, there are haunted attractions that do it. And if you see the ones that do it, guess what they have? They have plenty of people. They're not begging through half the season that they've lost people. That there's haunts that have started this year to do it. They're like, okay, we're gonna have to pay. They don't say it like this, but haunted attractions that I followed that's volunteer year after year, and they posted in June, July. Hey, you're going to be making this much. It is a paid position. You're going to be doing this. Uh, they're doing well. But the ones that continue to do the volunteer, or the ones that have started out last year, this year, whatever, with that same mentality, hey, come work for Burger King for 3 years for free, and then we'll pay you when we break even. It's ended. I'm telling you, next year is going to be an absolute roller coaster. You heard it here first, folks. It's going to be a roller coaster next year. And until these haunted attractions that are for profit, that make good money, 15, 20, 25, 35, $45 a ticket, who are still trying to do this with volunteers, it's a rude awakening. And it started this year, and it's going to be worse next year. So that is my take on that. But you are right too on what you said earlier, Zach. There are some folks too that are worried about COVID. They know that there is a unbelievably close interaction with some people that you sometimes can't help, and there are some folks that paid or volunteer. They just decided it's not worth it, for not just their health, but the health of their families. If they have kids, if they have wives, or parents, if they're young, they don't want to bring that stuff around. But quite honestly, a good chunk of this too is people want to get paid to do, yeah, 4 or 5 hours worth of haunt actor work is like a 12-hour shift, doing something else. I mean, because it's non frickin' stop, and it's literally backbreaking work.
It's tougher than people think until they get into it. I mean,
Yes.
I know that from doing it so much. It's not as glamorous or as fun as people would think.
But you know what, Dak? It can be a lot of fun if it's done correctly. If you have haunt owners and managers, who know what they're doing, who are not narcissists and aren't greedy, and they pay their people, and they know how to do shift rotations. Because I am also a firm believer that you don't just go into a corner for 4 or 5 hours and do that nonstop. You just don't. It's like asking.
You're right.
It's like if a place is open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Let's just say it's another burger place. You don't have somebody, except in emergencies, come in at 9 o'clock in the morning and stand at a grill for 12 hours flipping burgers. There's got to be a shift change, and there's got to be breaks. There's got to be lunch. There's got to be dinner. There's got to be something. Just because somebody's coming in like a haunt actor for 4 or 5 hours, it's 4 or 5 hours, they'll be fine. No, this is grueling work. This is a lot of damn work. So I'm also a proponent of shift changes or rotations, and a lot of haunted attractions, a lot, don't do it. And I think that's just bad news for everybody,
Yeah, yeah,
customers
yeah,
and all.
yeah. Any business that treats their humans like they're Terminator robots that don't need a break, that are perfect all the whole way without a break, or they're just stupid businesses. A whole bunch of people have fled my job. I'm not going to say where I work for legal reasons, but about about 20 essential people too. Not We're not talking about people that aren't worth their weight. We're talking about people that were pillars holding it up, vacated because they didn't get a damn breather. Too
Yeah.
much was asked of them, too much stress, too much piled on them, and they're not Supermen. They're not the Terminator. They don't fart lightning bolts and shoot laser beams out of their eyes. But yet the bosses were treating them that way. And they're like, you know what, boss? You can do this. Peace out.
The,
And
the
it's gotten steadily worse. Like, because of the people that have left that knew very serious stuff, they walked out and they're like, okay, boss, well, since you're so smart and you know how it's got to be done and it's all just brutal, well, here, you do it. You do this brutality that you're putting on me. And then and then the boss that like was too brutal is sitting there going, but, but, but what? I don't know what to do. I can't do this. And they're like, yeah, well, should have thought about that before you just shat upon me so hard. And
well, the
your
great
business will crumble if you don't care, about
well, the
what's happening to them.
the great resignation of 2021. It's a real thing, and it's not lazy people doing it. And the haunt industry is not immune. Um, I think that's what it's been called right now, the Great Resignation or something like that. The haunt industry is feeling it uh, because so many of these volunteers, same thing. They've been used and abused, and some people who are new at it are like, "Oh, the hell with this! This is not at all what I thought this would be." Um, it's a real thing, and it's going to very much affect 2022. And I'm sticking with the haunt industry just because it is what it is. But um, I it's it the haunt industry needs to wake up. These people that and especially like this little group of people with the Haunt Attraction Association, HAA, um, they need to wake up. They need to get off. They need to get off their high horses. And if they really want to try and help the industry, which is that whole thing's a lie too. There's it you pay money for nothing. Um, um, it there's some people that need to wake up. There needs to be an awakening with haunt owners and management. Um, that the free ride's over. It's been over. Um, but now the folks that were giving them that free ride have now decided, you know what? You're stuffing your banks with all this money where I'm busting my back, and you're giving me a $5 pizza to spread amongst 10 people. It's over. The niceties have ended with the volunteer system. I just, like I said, you're going to get people that are farting rainbows in the industry thinking that I'd be full of shit right now, but or there'd be people literally yelling at me right now because they'd say I was wrong. I'm not wrong. 2022 is going to be an unusually wild roller coaster year. And then if you go even in the vendor side of it, 2022 is not going to be a good year for stuff. It's just not. This whole thing is not going to end anytime soon as far as getting items. So you're going to have haunted attractions that are going to have to learn how to build their own stuff. um, so I'm telling you, um, well, like I said, for me, Wednesday is going to be very interesting.
On that note, we need to wrap this one.
Oh, that's right. It's past your bedtime, isn't it?
Indeed, it is.
We can do that. Well, let's do it formally like we normally do. I didn't realize what time it was.
Well, it's
So,
because
ladies and
Zach's
gentlemen-
here. Zach always makes the time go by faster.
Oh my, well, so do the people.
He's like a
What's
spoonful of sugar.
It helps the haunt industry go down. Well, Zach, we'll let you go. Thank you so much, Zach. It's great having you back on here as always. Very insightful. Like James said, chatting with you makes time go by like minutes, and it's been well over an hour. So, Zach, thank you so much. We'll let you go, and then as always, we'll let the show end on its usual note. So everybody, thank Zach for coming on. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wind it up so James can go to bed because he's had a very busy week at Lick the Pole Land.
Coronavirus Central.
Yeah, welcome to Florida. But I'll be back on Wednesday. Lots to talk about on Wednesday. I'll expound on some of the points that tonight. Hopefully get some insights from it. But as always, thanks to the new people that showed up. Hopefully we didn't drive you crazy. Thanks to everybody else, all you old folks that continue to come on here and listen to us yippity yap. Have a great week. Have a safe week. We'll see you Wednesday, and I'll let James lead us out.
Again, to reiterate what he said, it's always a gigantic pleasure to have Zac on. He is a fun dude to talk with, and it's always a good conversation. So thank you for coming on again, Zac. Much appreciated. You won't see me on Wednesday, but you will see me next Sunday at 13 Skeletons. I don't know what we have planned for that. Because what he's got going on is kind of a secret to me, so it'll be a surprise for all of us, and it'll be a great time. And then that following Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we'll be at Hershey Park. So there will be some random pop-up streams from there during the Hershey Park After Dark, as well as maybe some trick-or-treating on Halloween night at the Hershey Park campground from their cabins that we're staying at. So we'll see how that goes. But until next Sunday, when I'll be back, everybody show up Wednesday and help Mike make it a great stream, because he definitely needs you guys to be there to assist him when I'm not. So thank you for hanging out, and we'll see you soon.
Take it easy, everybody.